Now we're going to cover other news here, and then we have another exclusive Alex Jones video coming up, so stay tuned. Steve Watson reports for PrisonPlanet.com today that the Supreme Court in Minnesota is blocking the government's plan to claim outright ownership over DNA. And collecting and storing every newborn's blood violates the Genetic Privacy Act. And he writes how the case has exposed the fact that there is an ongoing semi-covert movement by state and federal governments to claim ownership over every newborn baby's DNA for the purpose of genetic research without the consent of individual citizens. And of course, this is a global DNA database. They're trying to map the human genome. It has eugenics tie-ins, and it has tie-ins with the development of bioweapons and the rest of it, including race-specific bioweapons. But specifically, the Minnesota Supreme Court has ruled that any parent of a newborn would have to be specifically informed and opt into the process rather than opting out as they had previously done. And since 2008, the State Department officials have begun seeking exemption for the so-called DNA warehouse from Minnesota's privacy law, the Genetic Privacy Act, something we need to cover more in depth later. We've previously spoken to one of the main people involved with this, Twyla Brace. Perhaps we should get her back on. Sprint has launched its participation in the soon-to-be mandatory emergency alert messages. Earlier in October, you saw the takeover nationally of television and radio communications with the first ever nationally coordinated emergency alert messages. Now they wish to branch out to mobile phones and the internet, and telecommunications giant Sprint has announced the launch of its wireless emergency alerts program that will deliver messages from the federal government directly to millions of Americans as part of a system set to become mandatory on all new cell phones. You have to opt in on the currently existing cell phones, but the new ones will have a special chip that coordinates with these government alert messages, and probably, I would imagine, may have surveillance technology involved as well. And all the majors are lined up to participate in this, so good luck getting out of that one unless we say no nationally. On the unconstitutional front, as well as the puppet president front, Obama uses the auto pen again to sign a bill into law. He's overseas, I think, dealing with some of the Asian foreign policy this week, but he needed to suddenly sign a bill allowing the government to continue on a budgetary matter, so they decided to use this mechanical device that copies his signature rather than having the president physically sign the bill. Article 1, Section 7 of the Constitution says if the president approves a bill, quote, he shall sign it. No provision is made for having a substitute signature affixed by a mechanical device or designated aid. Now, you've seen the kings and emperors of the past with their little seal that they use to sign bills, but here in America, it's been a physical signature. So is it unconstitutional for Barack Obama to use the auto pen? They get into how under President George W. Bush, the lawyers argued for the right to use the auto pen, but Bush himself never used it. Obama, however, previously used this sort of like tacitly agreed upon power to sign extensions of the Patriot Act. Robo-signing the Patriot Act doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Sounds doubly unconstitutional, something we should certainly keep a watch on. Now, as you know, Alex is on a working vacation, partly to check out many of the United Nations held national parks across the country, and he's been giving continuous updates through his iPhone on the Alex Jones channel and posted at Infowars.com. You just saw one of his exclusive videos a few minutes ago. Now we have another one on the dumping of nuclear waste. Let's go to that now. Thanks.
There's a government truck that says radioactive U.S. government plates, and then it's got these ICBM pieces or nuclear reactors. Oh my God! Type BU. What in the world is this? I want to know what these are, man. People won't be able to tell me. I'm going to put this up on the web. We're out here in the... I mean, look at this. It's got the radioactive sign. Oh, we're fine. Look, it's got the radioactive signs. Maybe they got like zombies in those tanks. Like it's some kind of zombie movie. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. We're out here investigating the UN biospheres. Hey, but according to everybody, radiation's good for you. The EPA's raised the level they say is safe. I mean, how weird is that? A truck that says radioactive has a radioactive flag on the back, a warning, that has a U.S. government plate. What do you think those are, Richard?
That's a good question. It could be some nuclear waste materials. I think they haul nuclear waste around here to try to put it away. So it could be that, or like you said, it could be maybe the radon gas from some of the drilling.
Yeah, but I said that before I was taping, before we'd read U.S. government plate. They wouldn't be involved hauling the radon gas, though.
So I know that, I guess in some areas they do still have nuclear weapons manufacturing and nuclear material for...
I'm sure whatever it is nutrition. This is our first video uploaded on the road. Stay tuned.
And there you have it. Of course, more updates from Alex throughout the weekend if you're watching this live on the Alex Jones channel on YouTube and also posted to Infowars.com. But there you have it. The United Nations is going to clamp down on human activity to protect biospheres, supposedly. But then nuclear waste is dumped wherever they want. GE builds nuclear power plants on fault lines on the islands of Japan. And now we have the Fukushima disaster and a whole lot more to deal with. Well, that's all we're going to get into tonight on the Infowars Nightly News.